Hi, I'm Norman A. Hood, financial advisor and host of the Exit Plan Show. I interview America's top advisors, like today's guest, Ruffin Craig of Webb Craig in Nashville, Tennessee. To help business owners enjoy more freedom, grow companies faster, transition ownership seamlessly, and create lasting legacies. Welcome to the show, Ruffin.
Thank you, Norman.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, we're going to start out. I'm just going to have you tell our audience a little bit about your background and then your career path up until now.
Okay, sure. Well, I'm an attorney. I've been practicing for about 14 years now. I got an LLM in tax law with a focus in estate planning, and I've practiced with several firms doing a broad range of corporate work and taxation. But my practice has evolved into a focus solely, predominantly in estate planning and business succession, mostly with small business owners on the succession part.
Okay. As far as your friends, how do you think they would describe you personally?
I think they would describe me as someone who is calm and patient and a good listener.
Well, those are good traits, especially in your work.
Yeah, right, and that kind of lends why I think I enjoy this type of practice.
Okay. What types of services does your firm actually offer?
I offer wills and trust, estate administration, corporate side. Can do anything from corporate formation to M&A transactions. Of course, any of the succession planning for the business and estate planning for the owner. And then, of course, any also tax issues that come along with any of the corporate and/or individual, and estate.
Now you have a partner, I guess, and so between the two of you offer these services. Are there more services?
Well, there's actually more services with the firm. My partner, Greg Webb, he specializes in banking law.
Oh, okay.
Federal regulatory banking, which the clients are the smaller community banks, so it's more like small businesses, but it's federal level work. Anything from forming a new bank to dealing with the M&A transaction, forming holding companies, kind of a broad range of those corporate services, and then of course I bring my tax degree and tax knowledge, any of the tax issues that come along with those corporate transactions. I didn't mention, I handle a lot of the deferred compensation.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Plans that, go along with those banks, whether it's stock options for directors or just...
Very popular. I was on a bank board for 10 years, so I know all about that. Great.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think differentiates you from some of the other law firms in Nashville? You may have already described that, but...
No, I feel like the thing that sets me apart is just my personal approach to my clients. I enjoy the one-on-one kind of human interaction and learning their stories, and again this kind of goes to my what I feel like are my strengths, being able to listen well to people and that's, I feel like rather than just trying to do a kind of nuts and bolts and just looking at the numbers kind of thing, I like to do that, but I enjoy the people interaction and getting to know people's stories. So
okay. Well, we talked a lot about this a little bit off camera about your, how you started in corporate law more, and now you've kind of evolved into estate planning. Why did you pick that area to specialize in, and why is that what you really like to focus on?
Well, I learned that in law school, which I never had really thought about estate planning until in law school, my first elective, I took estate and gift tax.
Oh, okay.
It was either that or criminal law, and I didn't have any inclination to do criminal practice, so I took estate and gift. And from the beginning, I liked that it kind of involved some numbers, and it was kind of solving a puzzle, putting the pieces together, and so I then learned, that you could specialize in that. So I was very excited and took all the classes I could, and learning about wills and estate planning, and I just like the idea of working with individuals,
Right.
to really make a difference and help them personally with their plans. So I went on to get my LLM, and I chose to focus in estate planning in that program rather than corporate. You kind of have
Right.
two ways you could go. Of course, then when I got out of school with my degree and I'm ready to go to work, I ended up with a firm that had a great business, and this is where the banking law came into it, with my partner, Greg. The business was primarily representing community banks and doing M&A deals and forming new banks and some of those services I listed that we still provide. So most of my work I was doing was corporate and tax related, and kind of always in the back of my mind, I missed getting to have that one-on-one interaction. That was, and through the years, I had a few clients, friends or family that I got to do that, and I realized, that was really more my passion to work in that area. So, after about 10 years of doing mostly corporate work, I finally just, when I had the opportunity to go out and start my own firm, I knew that I had to, go the estate planning route. That just,
was what you wanted to do.
Something I had to do. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Great. Okay, well, we work with business owners in a number of ways. One way that I think intersects with what you do is in the transitioning ownership. A lot of times that involves estate planning. Sometimes business owners haven't done any estate planning, and now all of a sudden they're selling their company. So let's pretend a business owner comes to you. It could be someone that owns a community bank even, because I know your partner works at. They come to you and they say, I'm going to sell my company, but I haven't done any estate planning. What would you say to that business owner?
Well, I would say, they do need to get a plan in place. There's a lot of issues, things that could go wrong if they don't have a plan. And of course, there's many issues. One of the, especially if they have a spouse and maybe it's a business where they intend for it to succeed on to the family. One of the critical issues is getting cash flow for the surviving spouse, and that's generally their goal of what they want to do when they exit. However, a lot of times they haven't thought through how that's going to occur, especially if they've been taking most of the income out of the business in compensation. And so they tend to assume that maybe they assume that's going to continue, and I haven't thought through without that key entrepreneur, once he leaves, the business is not going to be what it used to be, or they assume that suddenly a dividend policy is going to kick in and there's going to be dividends declared, and a lot of times that is not the case. So I just try to find out what their goals are of do they want to benefit? Is there a spouse, or do the kids want to take over ownership, and then kind of lead them through the pitfalls and the way to get where they want to go.
Okay, good. Great answer. Good tip, too. That was Ruffin Craig. He's with Webb Craig in Nashville, Tennessee. For more information about Ruffin and his firm, please check out the show notes for this episode on our website.